Hello, my beautiful fragrance family. Dustin here, fragrance fan. Go ahead and do me a solid and click that like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell notification. And I'm just going to keep on bringing you guys these budget-friendly fragrance reviews. That 40-ish and $100 range, and most of these, way less than that. A good number of these you can find at your local rack stores. And it's kind of hard to believe that you can find classy smelling fragrances at your local discount stores. Ross, Marshalls, TJ Maxx, Burlington, they're there. 4 out of the 5 that I have here are from one of those stores that I mentioned. So I'm going to start things off with the one that isn't from one of those stores, but the main reason is because I got these sitting on my floor tom in front of me, and this thing wants to topple over at the breath of a mouse. So we're talking about Afnan Turathi Blue. If you guys have watched me for any amount of time, you know that I've mentioned this thing several times because I enjoyed this fragrance that much. It is a spicy grapefruit, amber, patchouli, kind of sweet, musky kind of fragrance. More than anything else, it's a little bit sweet, but it has loads of that citrus leaning on the grapefruit side, spicy amber combination, making this thing a serious signature scent, compliment magnet, decent performance, not a beast, but it's not bad. I get 6 to 7 hours every time I wear this thing, every single time. Works in almost any situation, but I put this one on here because it's good for a fresh fragrance. It's more fresh than anything else. It's versatile. It can work in almost any season, but it's a fresh fragrance. So if you're trying to look classy and business, and maybe it's a super hot place like Florida and you're going out to a business lunch meeting or something like that, and you don't want to wear something that's going to be cloying outside in a parking lot conversation or something like that, this will be a good option for that because it won't be annoying, polarizing, or cloying in the high heat, and its signature scent, it has that class to it. It's just going to work in a grown man's kind of a meeting. So Afnan Turathi Blue, totally worth checking out as far as that. Up next, we will go with Mercedes-Benz, the original. The reason why I'm not going with the Intense is because I don't have it and I've never smelled it. So this is the one I have, and from what I understand, it smells almost identical to this, except the performance on that one might be like an hour longer from what I understand. That's it, because this performs decent. It's another 7-hour fragrance, so it's not a beast, but it's a good performing fragrance. This one is a zesty citrus, like the zesty part of a citrus. That's what I'm trying to say, like the kind of like the shavings off of like the bergamot and the lemon and stuff like that, rather than the juices. This is the zesty part of that pepper, violet, vetiver combination. Heavy on the violet, but also good doses of that citrus, almost like a petitgrain kind of citrus at the same time. You know, like the crushed citrus leaves, it's got a bit of that kind of tartness going on. A lot of people compare this to Dior Fahrenheit. They're not wrong because they're both heavy on the violet, that petroleum kind of violet smell, but this is easier, much, much easier. Fahrenheit can almost be polarizing the second you spray it, whereas this one has that inviting, easygoing, refreshing, bright, crispy citrus up in the top, which makes this more universal, easier to like, not annoying to your neighbors type of a thing, and it works okay in the warm weather. So this is pretty universal, but you can easily dress this one up. That's why it is worthy of being on this list. Mercedes-Benz. Hard to get this thing to focus. It is not cooperating, is it? Anyhow, Mercedes-Benz, the original. So, up next, another car company, but completely worthy of being on this, and all the hype that it had received. I'm not somebody that just follows hype and listens to hype and jumps on that train, because no matter what, I am always going to give my honest opinion on these fragrances. But this one is a grown man's kind of fragrance, and I think it deserves to be on this list and pretty much every other hype train that this thing has rode. It is sweet, spicy, boozy, little bit of that smoky incense in it, classy, very long lasting, loud, but intoxicating, inviting, just confident. It almost boosts your confidence when you wear a fragrance like this. Not youthful, definitely mature, not old man smelling. classy, mature, manly, because it is boozy, woody. This one just works for a business meeting. I will say that easily. It's sweet too. It's got a sweetness to it, almost a vanilla sweetness, but there's no real vanilla in here, but it has almost that same kind of sweetness that vanilla can give you, but that's just there helping out all that masculine stuff, all the woods, all the booze, all the spice. So this one will do very well, especially like if you're the boss. This might be the one you want to reach for. If you don't have it, you might want to check it out. If you're looking for classy, mature fragrances, this is like the epitome of that. This is one of the first ones I thought of when I was coming up with this list. So this one works really good for that. Up next, one that some people might think does smell a little old manish because it leans a little bit on like a powdery side, and I'm talking about Burberry Touch. It'll work better if I hold it like this. It'll focus better. I know it will. It always does. There we go. Another violet heavy fragrance. Violet, woody, musky, powdery. It's got like vetiver in here. Little bits of like, there's like some mandarin or something like that, but you don't pick up a whole lot of citrus or anything like this. Mostly you're going to get that violet powdery kind of thing and a good dose of woods. That cedar wood, almost like that pencil shavings kind of a wood. Pencil shavings powder. I like the way this thing smells, especially if you're going not necessarily the most dressed up of meetings, but you could dress this thing up easily to whatever. But to me, like what I'm wearing right now is really good for this fragrance. An occasion where you're wearing just like a decent looking collared shirt is where this one is going to shine really good. Super mature, definitely mature, not for the faint of heart. Youth might like it. I've seen young kids like stuff like Halston and Drakkar and Polo Green and stuff like that. So not saying that just because you're in high school you won't like this thing, but more than anything else, this is going to be probably 40 plus. 30 anyhow. 30 plus. So Burberry Touch, definitely worthy of being on this list. Rack stores, all these you just find at the rack stores, which is super awesome. This one is, I think it's about $30. I haven't given the prices on any of the other ones. This one's $30. But yeah, powdery, woody, violet leaf. Good dose of violet leaf. I like it. It just works. It just works. And the performance isn't bad. Not bad at all. It's 5 to 6 hour fragrance. Some people get beast mode on that thing, and I can easily see how, but for me, it's 5 to 6 hours and then it goes away, but it doesn't turn into a skin scent for like 3 hours. I hate that. And like you kind of have to count that as the performance, but on this one, it gives you a scent bubble for like that whole 5 or 6 hours, and then it just fizzes away. That's on me, anyhow. And last but certainly not least, Ferragamo's F Black. Everybody knows this thing as being that creamy peppered vanilla. It also has a little bit of a green apple, and it's got some lavender in here, giving it a touch of sweetness. But you know, they compare it to like La Nuit de l'Homme and stuff like that, and La Nuit is more on the powdery side. This is like on the creamy side. I think this is a touch sweeter, and yeah, just peppered creamy vanilla with that green apple lavender. The suit and tie kind of fragrance. I think one of the big reviewers dubbed this as the black tie fragrance type of thing. Screaming confidence, but it's probably one of the easiest fragrances on this one to like. There's people that hate this thing though. There's people that hate it, but man, I have received some compliments for that. I mean, look at the juice level. That tells everything. I haven't wore this thing in a while because I liked it so much and I need to get another bottle, but I just don't really see it at the rack stores too often. I do sometimes, but not nearly as often as I did before. But this thing just works so well. It feels so good wearing that thing at a dressed up occasion because it smells way more expensive than what it is. It does, like none of these smell like rack store fragrances the way that they are, what they're built around, their heart and body, what they kind of, the confidence that they give you, the energy that they bring. They do not feel, smell, or even have the quality of inexpensive fragrances. Every one of these easily could be priced at like the $40 plus range. I know that most of my fragrances are mid to lower 40s, most being around $20, but these are minimum smelling $40, whereas like, you know, this one smells like a $50 or $60 fragrance. Just saying. And they have that kind of quality too. So that's 5 fragrances that I think just shout sophistication, work so good in a dressed up environment, bring that level of energy and confidence that you're looking for if you're wanting to kind of stand out and smell like you belong at the whatever dressed up occasion that you're at, whether it be I always say like business meeting, it could be a wedding, could be a formal event of any kind. These are those kind of fragrances, and none of them are going to break the bank, and they're readily available all the time, especially at the recording of this of September 2024. So with that, I'm out. Y'all be blessed. Take care of yourself always, and until next time.